Welcome in, everybody. It's Sunday night. You know what that means. It's time for Region Weather Live. Appreciate you guys joining us tonight. Hope you had a nice weekend as we're getting into holiday week. Obviously, the plan becomes a little bit different in terms of what your week looks like. When's the grocery shopping going to get done? What are those last minute things that you need to be doing? And we don't want the weather to get in the way. What's interesting is that this time last week, and it's in Honor Coleman is on our YouTube channel, and this is the first comment he asked. He said, hope you're having a nice weekend. Do you think the models over the last few runs have straightened things out? Because I feel like they were way off on precip and the cold last week. Honor, I'm glad you bring that up because we're going to talk about that. This time last week, we were looking at a storm system. We never thought it would produce a lot of snow, but the cold, there was this blast of cold coming in from northern Canada, and it looked like it was going to interact with the storm system, and we were going to get that cold on the backside. Remember, we were talking about Thanksgiving morning perhaps being in the upper teens, low 20s. Things over the last couple days, if you haven't been following the weather forecast, they've moderated because that cold blast is now further north. And so it doesn't interact with the system a whole lot, but it's still sitting off towards the north. And is there another system next weekend that finally pulls that in here, or do we stay mild? A real interesting plot twist in terms of what the models have done over the last week or so. So hopefully you're digesting our information throughout the week, and you're not just waiting for Sunday nights, because we've kind of followed that moderation as we've gone over the last couple of days. But anyway, we'll talk a lot about that. I want to give you the forecast and the pattern over the course of the rest of the month. We'll get into early December on some of the long-term models, and we'll go from there in terms of all that. First and foremost, I want to thank our sponsors. They just do wonderful work for us, and they do wonderful work for you as well. We get at least 2 messages a week, which says a lot that someone takes the time to write it, but about one of our sponsors and saying thank you for pairing us up with them. Tiger Plumbing, if you guys need a plumber, they are Northwest Indiana's plumber, family-owned business, wonderful family-centered folks that run Tiger Plumbing. It's tigerplumbing.net. They come out for free, which is different than most plumbers, right? They'll charge you a trip fee just to come look at your pipe or whatever it happens to be. But they come out for free, and they do wonderful work. And this will be the last reminder, but they want me to remind everybody, your outdoor spigots need to be off and turned off and drained. And you want to have the water line inside your house. I look over here because ours is right over here. You want to have the water line that's going to the outdoor hose that you have, or outdoor hoses. You want to have those in the off position as well as we get into the winter months. So a free reminder from them. They said this is going to lose us business, but that's how much we care. So that was cool by them. PSA are public service adjusters. They do work around insurance claims. So let's say you have any damage to your property, whatever that happens to be. Could be numerous things: a flood, a pipe leak, whatever that happens to be. A tree falls on your neighbor's fence and impacts you, whatever. They come in and they handle the insurance side of things from start to finish. You don't have to do any of it. You call them, they'll work on behalf of you to get you more money than you normally would get from your insurance agency. It's publicserviceadjusting.com. So if you're ever dealing with insurance, anything like that, go through them first. Ewing Mechanical Services, they're back with us. They do work around HVAC, your indoor environment. They have indoor humidifiers, which are real important this time of year. If your skin feels dry, if you've got that stuffy nose, it could be your dry humidity. There's no humidity inside your house. Indoor humidifier is the way to go. They're offering 0% for 60 months right now on new systems, plus a free whole house humidifier, and ecobee Wi-Fi thermostat with all new furnace and AC system packages. It's ewingmech.com. Grieger's Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Get your next Chrysler Dodge Jeep or Ram at Grieger's. Their family-owned business on US 30 there in Valparaiso as well. And then finally, last but not least, St. Jude House, our nonprofit. They do wonderful work. I want to give them a shout out around domestic violence, which isn't something pretty that we like to talk about, right? A lot of people go through that, though, especially, unfortunately, as we get towards the holiday season. You get a lot of family interaction, some of it not good, especially domestically. So if you need any help around that, or you know anyone that needs something around domestic violence, some help, safe haven perhaps, stjudehouse.org is the place to go. Okay. All right. Let's dive into the models, everybody. I see your comments here. We've got Brent's with us. Brent, hey, how are you? Amanda's with us. Good evening to you. Susan, great to be with you here tonight. Linda's with us. Jeff, Don Z's on our YouTube channel. Mary, hello. Mark's with us. In honor, great questions off the top there. Deshaun's with us tonight. Justin, hello to you. Tom says, when can I stop cutting my lawn? It's still growing. Just let it go from here on out, Tom. You'll be okay. I thought the same thing today. I was out in the yard playing with the kids, and I was looking at them like, there's some higher grass in spots. Like, what's going on, right? Vicky Lee's with us from Hobart. And let's see. Yeah, and Mark says, I'm thankful that your family is healthy. Oh, that's so sweet. That's very nice of you, Mark. I appreciate that. Sarah, Gail, Chrissy, Kristen, hello to you guys as well. I've got 2 questions for you. So if you guys can put this into the chat. Couple of things. What are you doing this week? I tend to forecast Thanksgiving week every single year around travel. Is anyone actually traveling, or are you all staying local? Does anyone want a national forecast? Do we need to even pay attention to that, or is this more of a local thing for everybody? I've never really asked people, and we should probably ask when we're catering forecasts. So, do we need a national travel forecast? Are you traveling nationally, or are you staying local here this week? That's number 1 question. And number 2, is everybody healthy? I feel like everybody is sick, like everywhere. I don't know if it's a mix of COVID and whatever else is going around, but are you guys doing okay? We're okay. We had it about 2 weeks ago. I think my son might be dealing with ear infection again. He might have to have tubes. I'm not sure, but either way, are you guys healthy, and where are you going this week? Those are the 2 questions. Okay. All right. We'll dive in. So I'm seeing a lot of local on here. Brent's traveling. You're in Cleveland right now, Brent. Shouldn't be many problems this week. Yeah, Chrissy's going to the state football game for Crown Point. Yeah, what a game this Friday or last Friday night, right? Okay, and I've seen a lot of traveling local. Okay. Nick's going to Tennessee, to Gatlinburg. Nice. Yeah, we can do that, Nick. Let's throw that in there. Amanda is from Greenwood, but I moved but still follow. That's sweet of you. Chris is ready for winter as well, and Larry's with us. I didn't say hi to Larry. So, okay, let's dive in. Let's give you some information here, shall we? I'm just chit-chatting so much. All right, so here's what we've got big picture-wise, right? We've got one storm system we're really watching this week, and this storm system is going to be a rainmaker. It's going to be a real soaker for us, and that soaking arrives tomorrow night, so Monday night into Tuesday. It's getting going now. Remember last week at this time, the way this evolved, we saw it evolving pretty accurately, where there would be initial wave. That's kind of what's moving in now. There's not a lot of precip with that. We've got very dry air in place still. So a lot of this initial rain will be evaporating before it hits the ground. So there's not going to be a lot of rain with that. This low pressure is kind of in 2 waves. There's one up in southern areas of South Dakota. And then the other one's coming across the Rockies right now. Good snow for the Rockies. If you're traveling to Colorado, for example, ski season has begun, folks. They're getting some good snow out there. But remember, Rocky Mountain's, 13, 14,000 feet high. When a low pressure comes into the West Coast strong, which this one was, it has to get over those mountains, and it tends to kind of disrupt it with the mountainous terrain. So this low pressure doesn't look like much now, but once, and this is like 6 hours from now, once it gets on the other side of the Rocky Mountains and ejects itself into southern plains, that's when it can start to get its energy back again. And so we're going to see an area of low pressure develop pretty quickly here tonight into tomorrow in areas of Kansas and Oklahoma. And it's that low pressure that's going to scoop up some Gulf of Mexico moisture, bring it our way, and it's going to bring not just some rain and a good soaking to our region, but it's also going to bring some windy conditions with it as that low really deepens, okay? So that's what we've got kind of big picture on the map right now. And then out towards the west, that is kind of the beginning of our active pattern around here as we not only bring in multiple systems, but we are starting to play with cold air. So our storm systems do get a lot more interesting as we go into next week. So let's start your week out. Here we go. This is tomorrow. Low pressure getting going. You see the isobars, all these black lines. You've seen those before. Those are isobars. Those are lines of equal pressure. When I do weather school visits, basically the way we teach it, if you see a lot of them, that means it's windy. If you don't see a lot of them or they're kind of spread out, it means it's not windy, all right? So you notice how we've got a lot more lines tomorrow. We're going to have gusty winds tomorrow afternoon. I think we'll have gusts over 30 at times, so not a crazy wind, but it will be a breezy, if not windy day tomorrow as this low gets going. Wind will be out of the east-southeast tomorrow. Rainfall chances are there tomorrow, starting anywhere, I would say around late morning. But again, the initial rain that's moving in is kind of patchy, and it's going to be moving into dry air. So a lot of that's actually going to be virga, where that rain is falling into the dry air and evaporating before it hits the ground. So we'll keep a slim shower chance in starting late morning tomorrow, still a slim shower chance into early afternoon. It's late afternoon into the evening that will really start to bring the rain in. We'll be saturated from top down in the atmosphere. It'll be a much different set up late tomorrow. So here comes the rain. Again, here's your initial hit. This is tomorrow for rush hour. We're starting to get into some showers. The main low is still down towards the south. As this low heads off towards the north, here's our soaking rain as we get maximum lift with this system. This is tomorrow night into Tuesday morning. So Tuesday morning rush hour looks pretty washouty at this point. All right. I just made up that term, but I'm pretty sure you know what I mean by that. It's going to be real wet around here Tuesday morning. And then eventually the system starts to pull away. But what we were battling last week, we knew cold air was coming into this. What we were battling is there enough moisture left over when the cold air gets here? And it didn't look like there was going to be really a lot of moisture left when the cold air arrived. So we weren't calling for a lot of snow on the backside of the storm system. And now the models still agree with that, but the degree of the cold air is not the same. It's not really going to be that much colder on the backside of this. It's going to be cold, but not what we were looking at last week at this time. And you notice we may have Tuesday night, once the rain's out of here Tuesday, we're fine. But Tuesday evening into Wednesday morning, we may have a little band of lake effect that sets up. That would be mainly showers at this point. That's what our temperatures are doing. And all the snow, all the lake effect snow that the system looked to bring really doesn't look like much right now. This system's going to be more of a snowmaker for areas of upstate New York, into Vermont, and areas of Maine as well, where that cold air is going to be. So that's how this system evolves. Just a rainmaker, moves through, again, bulk of the rains tomorrow night into Tuesday. We have some lingering showers around here Tuesday before it finally starts to clear on out. So in terms of where do we go from there, we kind of quiet down as we go towards Thanksgiving. So a couple of things I want to show you here. The GFS, this is that same system. Nothing's changed, right? We get some rain and then it clears on out. The GFS is snowier out of all of the models, all right? So it's got snow as close as Wisconsin. That doesn't impact us, so unless you're traveling. By Wednesday, it looks much better around here. Here's your Wednesday map, all right? So our Gatlinburg trip, we're going to have some lingering showers in the mountains of eastern Tennessee on into Wednesday. But overall, you know, we're not doing too bad. We've got cooler air coming in, but it's not cold. All these blue lines up here, you see these blue lines? This was that gush of cold that looked further south last week. It is off towards the north. It's not playing with the storm system at all. So as a result, we stay mild, probably in the 40s as we get in the latter half of the week, maybe some upper 30s, but overall, no bitterly cold air like it looked like last week at this time. However, that cold air is lingering off towards the north. It comes into Canada and it stays there, all right? So now every storm system that comes by after that is starting to play with that, all right? So here's what the GFS says, how things evolve. This is Thursday. This is your Thanksgiving. Not a bad day, nice and quiet. If you have backyard football, perhaps you're doing that. Tradition. I can't wait till my boys are older so you can do that on Thanksgiving. But, you know, if that's your game, you know, little mud outside, that's about it. But it will be dry. That's the good news. And temperatures will be cool, but it won't be that bad. And then on into Friday, we start to play with our next storm systems. See how this cold air is here. It starts to take a little bit of a dive into the western U.S. And then here's that little wave of low pressure that we were tracking. It kind of moves through, kind of goes along the southern base of that. This is Saturday into Sunday. There's no real system by us. Maybe out towards New England, they get another real good snow with this. But for us, we kind of wait on this system to go by. And it doesn't look to pass until sometime Sunday into Monday. Doesn't look like much with the system in general, but it'll be enough to pull this cold air down. So by next end of the weekend into next week, we're talking much colder temperatures around here. Does that spin up some lake effect snow? It could. As of right now, it doesn't look like any major system from this that would produce a snowstorm or anything like that. The GFS is picking up on something as we get into the extended right here. A little wave of some snow with a clipper system perhaps next Tuesday, Wednesday. And then this is a little bit of a more formidable system here. This is into early December, so December 2nd and 3rd, maybe some kind of system there. But again, that's fantasy land in the model, so we're not going to look at that. I do want to show you the Euro because, again, I lean more Euro than anything else. There's not much that's different with that. The Euro has more of a quieter look to it. And I normally show local map. I want to make sure I'm showing national map in case you guys are traveling. You can kind of see how everything evolves, right? So here's the Euro. Here's that rain coming in. That secondary area of low pressure gets going down to our south. Let me switch to the 12Z because that's a full run. And you can see there's our rain right there. We get some wind as well. Two questions I didn't answer about the rain tomorrow. In terms of amounts, I think we could see up to an inch of rain. So anywhere from a half an inch to an inch, maybe a little over an inch if we get some more convective nature to it. But we'll get a real good soaking tomorrow night and Tuesday. Second question is the winds. The winds, again, could gust over 30 at times tomorrow. They'll back off a little bit Tuesday morning as that low goes right over us. And then Tuesday afternoon, they'll be coming out of the north. It'll be a colder wind on Tuesday afternoon, and they could get gusty again, perhaps 25 miles per hour or so. So again, nothing extreme. I don't think we'll have a wind advisory or anything like that, but it certainly will be pretty windy with this system as it moves through. So here's the Euro. Notice all the snow up in New England. I mean, that's where that cold air is. You can just follow it. This cold air that last week looked like it was going to dive into the Great Lakes is now diving into New England. It's further north by a good 200 miles or so. So they get good snow out of that. And that's going to cause travel problems on Wednesday. If you have any travel plans through New York, LaGuardia, up and down the eastern seaboard, it's going to be messy on Wednesday. Tuesday would be the better of the days for that. And then Thursday, here's Thanksgiving. Looks good on the Euro. It has a little bit different involvement or evolvement of, is that a word? Of how this next system evolves. That's kind of where I'm going at. It brings in perhaps some showers in here late Friday, maybe mixing with some snow. It's not a big system, so I wouldn't be surprised if this disappeared on the modeling, but still something to watch. And then notice how that trough gets dug out. So we are talking colder conditions around here by the time we get into the weekend. Another snowstorm perhaps for New England as people are coming back on Sunday, big travel day. So the airports, again, look to be kind of messy. That'll probably be your national story is what's happening out on the East Coast, both for Wednesday and then again on Saturday into Sunday. And then next week, this is what the Euro says. The cold air keeps coming. So we've got temperatures generally in the 30s, but you notice there's no big systems. These little waves aren't kind of pairing up. The southern jet stream's not pairing up with the northern jet stream. We're not seeing the phasing is what they call that. So this system, there's impressive moisture with it next Tuesday, but it doesn't meet up with anything to form a low pressure. Another one down in Texas, perhaps next Wednesday. We'll see if that can evolve. So if you're a winter storm lover, the models as of right now don't have any of that through early December. Well, we'll go just through the end of the month, through November 30th. But I'm telling you, they're all close. They're close. Like if this low right here is a little bit further north, we would see phasing occur, and it could develop a stronger area of low pressure. So there's plenty of opportunities, but nothing really coming together right now. So I don't see much of that. And then all indication is that we stay on the cold side as we start December. The GFS does warm things up a little bit, December 5th, 6th, 7th. But that would be like 40s and 50s again. But overall, I see a lot of 30s and 40s in the forecast, especially as we get into next week. It's going to get much cooler. Okay. All right. So let's get to your questions. If you guys have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those. This is always what we do on Region Weather Lives. You can actually interact with a real life meteorologist, right? Trust me, I don't sell people on that. That's not very exciting. But if you do have a question, I'd be happy to help you out with whatever that happens to be. Okay. All right. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So Tom's house went through a round of COVID. Yeah. Felt like a cold, kind of achy, feverish, right? Head cold. Jane's house. Everyone's sick, says Pamela. Let's see. Jan's staying local. Dave is in Demont right now. Deshaun, thank you for the wishbone comment. I don't think I've ever won the wishbone ever. Let's see. Maxwell says now it's looking mild for Thanksgiving. What a difference. Yeah. What a difference for sure. Maxwell. And that's what happens this time of year is we're towing the line. I mean, we're 100 miles away typically this time of year between warm and cold, right? There can be some big differences in that 100 miles. And so temperatures can swing rapidly. The good news is that the precip and the way the models handle the systems don't really change a whole lot. Models have a really good 7 to 10 day handle on systems in general. The details of that need ironed out, right? But this system really hasn't changed much in the week. We knew we were going to get a big low pressure that was coming up. Did we have enough cold air to produce snow in the backside? That was the big question. But as of right now, the system hasn't changed. But what happens after that with that cold air certainly has. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Susan's happy about a better looking Thanksgiving. Cindy says I look more rested. I'm not, Cindy. I have you fooled. Yeah, we've got, I think I shared this with you guys before. We have our newborn, right? 3 weeks old now. And for work, for the last two, I got 2 weeks off for paternity leave, which is great. I'm thankful for any paternity time whatsoever. I do think it's important for family bonding, right? I mean, it's not a vacation. There's a lot of work going on with new dynamics. But this time they upped it over the last year, I guess, to 6 weeks. And so I've been off work for 6 weeks. The beard's getting thicker. And I'm on week 5 right now. So I've got 2 more weeks. And I'll tell you, our little one's not sleeping much better through the night. We think he's going through a big growth spurt right now. Again, we have 3 other kids, so we've been through this. So we kind of know, what's going on, but it doesn't make it any easier. But boy, he's eating like crazy all of a sudden, and every hour and a half. So it's been a challenge for my wife and I, but we keep saying we're too old for this. Like we're done. We're just done with the whole kid thing. But we're very blessed to have another baby boy, and I can't wait to raise these kids upright. Excited for that. Okay, so Vicky asks, you guys didn't ask about all that. She asks, when can we expect the first significant amount of snow? Vicky, good question. So realistically, we can look out what we did, a good 10 to 15 days out, and we can see if there's any big snows coming. And as of right now, Vicky, I don't see any through the end of the month at least. We'll take it there. There's going to be some opportunities, though, with some of the models bringing these systems in down to the south. They don't have it churning the snow or even bringing a lot of precip in, but it's real close. If any of these lows shift a little bit further north, the opportunities are certainly there. But as of right now, again, I don't see any significant snows here locally. And that's for really many of the Great Lakes areas. Any significant snow on the map is going to be confined over the next 10 days to New England, like Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, even, inland areas of Massachusetts. So real interesting there. Nick says main hiking days in the Smokies are Wednesday and Friday. Any rain around? Let's look, Nick, and we'll go to our trusty site, the Euro. So Wednesday, Wednesday you'll have lingering showers around. It's going to be cooler. It'll probably kind of dreary, Nick. And my wife and I just went to the Smokies last year. We love it there. There tends to be, after a system goes by, you get kind of the lingering fog and low clouds in the mountains because it doesn't clear out as quickly. So you'll probably have that on Wednesday. Friday should be good. Let's fast forward here. I don't think that Gulf moisture makes it there. Yeah. Well, depends on what happens with this wave. This wave will move in afternoon on Friday. Let's look at the GFS for you. So it does look kind of rainy on Friday too. GFS has it too, Nick. So unfortunately, your two real chances of rain are going to be Wednesday and Friday. Wednesday looks to be the better day as that system's moving rather than Friday. Still kind of up in the air in terms of how Friday evolves, but it does look kind of rainy down there. Nick, there is a hike my wife and I did. I think it was, I wish I was prepared for this because I don't remember things off the bat. It was a good hike. It took, I think, 8 hours. It was up a mountain essentially, but up at the top of the mountain, I forget the name. It's at Smoky Mountain National Park. So we stayed in Gatlinburg. We did an Airbnb there, and then we drove, through Gatlinburg, through the strip of, all the commercial stuff. And then we went in the Smoky Mountain National Park. You go quite a ways through there, and you go through, there's one tunnel where you do the turn, like literally the road curves and it goes through a tunnel of itself. And so you're basically doing like a loop going uphill through that. So you do that tunnel, and then eventually you'll get to this, what is it called? You'll get to this great hiking spot. And you can hike, I think maybe an hour and a half or 2 hours up to this lookout point. There's a big rock that comes overhead, and you can keep going. Anyway, point of the story is when you make it to the top, there are cabins up there, and these cabins you can stay at. They're not luxury cabins at all. They're old looking. The place has been there forever. And they have this little supply shop up there, and they do dinner. They do real basic dinner for all the folks that are staying in those cabins that night. You have to hike to this place, so you can't drive to it. So everyone that goes there and stays the night has to hike. And they have supplies and food. And we asked the girl that was working. She was super bubbly, Southern accent, loved it. We asked her, how do you guys getting this food up here? Is someone like bringing this up? And she said, you just missed it. They have a donkey train. So they have literally I think they said 6 or 7 donkeys that they load supplies on once a week, or maybe it was once a morning. I'm not sure, but it comes all the way up the mountain with all these supplies. It was so cool. And anyway, we didn't stay there, but we hiked up to that spot and we met some of the people there. And then if you get there, you can keep going another, I think, 30-minute hike or whatever to this lookout spot. And I'm telling you, it is the best lookout spot. If you don't have to do this, but on my Instagram, I posted it. This was like back, gosh, a year ago that we went. I think it was in August. But anyway, this lookout spot, you're down to a rock like this big that you're walking on, and both sides drops off, and you are way up over. You're on top of the mountain. You're on top of the world. It's incredible. And you can go on a little rock and look out. And as a meteorologist, I'm above the clouds, so it's just wonderful. I was scared to death to walk. I was walking like this, and my wife was fine. But it was cool. That's a really cool spot. So, yeah, Alum Cave is cool as well. That's what it is, Nick. That's it. It's Mount LeConte or LeConte, whatever that is. Yes, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, please do that if you haven't done that yet. It's amazing. That was our best memory from that for sure. So very cool. All right. So Mary says, so no snow for Saturday. I have my grandson's birthday party. Mary, how old's your grandson turning? And Saturday looks good. Yeah, Saturday will be fine. In terms of Saturday, we'll have, that big system out towards the east. But as of right now, we look good. It does look to get cooler this weekend. Can't rule out some kind of lake effect developing with the cool air coming in. The models don't have any of it right now, but no big snow for Saturday. We look okay. Deshaun asked a good question. Any severe weather by chance? No, Deshaun, we're not in the warm sector of the system at all. I'll zoom in and kind of show you here. So for the system that we're getting, for us to have severe weather, we would have to be, let me kind of put this back. We'd have to be down here. So Kentucky, Tennessee, they may get some stronger storms. I think the bulk of the severe weather with instability is going to be down towards Louisiana. By the way, they're getting much needed rain. They already got some. They're going to get more. But that's where the severe weather would be. For us, just rain. Kind of a raw, gross rain will be in the 40s. Just not very nice at all. Mary, 12 years old. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Well, happy birthday to him, Mary. No, you'll be okay. You'll be fine. Gabrina asks, how do we find your Instagram for vacation pics? You have to go back a while, Gabrina. So there's going to be lots of kid pictures in there. But I am on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram as Wintz Weather. So it's my last name, Wintz, W-I-N-T-Z Weather. It's all one word. So if you search me on Instagram, that picture's there. But I posted a picture, I remember it, of us sitting on top of the world. It's so if you go to Mount LeConte, you have to keep hiking. There's another lookout point. I forget what it's called. There's a sign up there. And we were so tired because we got up there, but it said like something lookout or whatever. And we're like, oh, well, we want a good view. And so we went up there for that. So that was cool. Deshaun's got a birthday coming up too. Nice. Happy birthday, Deshaun. That's awesome. Lance, that's okay. You can join whenever you want. Here's the beauty of Facebook Live. You can go back and rewatch the stuff that we already talked about. So we pretty much covered it all there, Lance. Lance, just to give you a quick rundown, you're saying fill me in. That's okay. We can do that. Real soaking rain is going to move in here, especially late. We'll have kind of some showers around tomorrow, especially later in the day. But a soaking rain moves in tomorrow night into Tuesday morning. That gets out of here. There's not a lot of snow with this system at all because the cold air is going to stay to the north. There's not really a lot of cold air. So it's not going to be a brutal Thanksgiving. It's going to be fairly mild. We'll be probably in the 40s. Not a lot of snow with that. And then that cold air looks to come in here as we get to the weekend and next week. That's when we start to wrap in that cold air that's going to be just off towards the north. So do we have snow with that? Still remains to be seen. There's no big snowstorms in the forecast. It's kind of hodgepodge, maybe a little rain snow mix here. But overall, no big systems as of right now through the middle of next week. But as we know, things can change. So we'll continue to keep an eye on that. Okay. All right. I think that's it. And you're welcome. Happy Thanksgiving to you. Susan, you're welcome as well. Happy Thanksgiving. All right, guys, we'll be with you this week if we need anything. Lance, I don't expect any sleet. No, the setup's not, we don't have any sleet in the setup right now. So you guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Again, we'll be with you until then. We're not going anywhere. I'm not going on vacation or anything. We're here. Okay. So we'll give you weather updates throughout the week. Okay. Linda, you too. Amanda, you too. Thank you guys very much. All right. Have a wonderful night. Good start to the week. Hopefully you have, 2-day work week, whatever it happens to be, and you can enjoy time with your family. Okay. All right. Talk to you soon.